Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Spyro Year of the Dragon, Part 25. Almost all the gems in this level have been collected. Now, the Midnight Mountain homeworld have pretty much all been collected. There's only a few odd ones that we still have not collected yet. So we'll go and collect those, and then we would have collected every gem in this homeworld, meaning that all the gems in all the homeworlds of this game have pretty much been collected at this point. And since there aren't very many levels left in this game in general that haven't been completed, have not yet been 100% completed yet either, we have the vast majority of gems in this game. We're truly getting into the home stretch of what this game has to offer. Level complete. It's now saying level complete for the Midnight Mountain world. It's always satisfying to see that just simple text that says level complete, finding those literal whistles and bells they threw in Spyro 2. Going to the haunted tomb, where it's filled with haunted creatures, filled with mummies and ghouls and ghosts and Michael Jackson. And all the scary stuff that kids fear when they go to bed at night. It's all found in this haunted tomb, the ancient Egyptian-looking level. So ancient Egypt was really weird and creepy and scary a lot of the time. And I guess that's what they were trying to reflect on when they made this level. You have to solve this riddle. I'm a vessel without hinges, locker lid, yet within my walls a golden treasure. I wonder what that golden treasure could possibly be. What is? We have to solve these guys' riddles. These people seem to be entirely based on riddles. Riddle me this. Yes, like riddle me this, Batman. I could solve your riddles easy, because I'm Batman. Yeah, Spyro has to be a Batman in this level, pretty much. He has to run through these hazards and solve riddles, and, of course, not get killed, and resort to a bunch of the tactics that Batman would use. Of course, Batman has an arsenal of gadgets, which is something Spyro obviously doesn't have. He just has the ability to charge and flame his enemies. And those coffin things, they just produce an infinite number of those mummified Rhinox. Mummified Rhinox. I wonder if they have any of those mummified burgers that guy had from McDonald's that he kept in his coat pocket that he supposedly still has to this very day after almost 30 years, after like 20-something years now. Keeping that burger. I bet it looks the same. Some McDonald's burgers never really decompose. I'm sure Rhinox never decompose either. That's probably why the sorceress keeps getting so many of them. And they have Earth Shapers in this level too. I think that's the first time I've ever seen Earth Shapers appear in this game. We saw them at least 2 levels in Spyro 2, and now they're back in this game, and specifically in this one level. And there's those falling rocks in the ceiling. This whole ceiling is falling apart. And we have to dodge all of it and dodge all the hazards too. We can only kill the Earth Shapers by using our mouths to pick up those white balls that come out. They turn red after a while. So Spyro's mouth is able to distinguish the ball, only for it to be reignited after he spits it out. It just blasted at the Earth Shaper and have the Earth Shaper get killed. Well, Spyro's breath is pretty much, Spyro's name's really a pun on pyro, meaning like, playing with fire. But Spyro's really good with playing with fire, a master of manipulating fire pretty much. He does a much better job of it than that guy from X-Men, that kid that plays the lighter, and he sets things on fire. He's probably gonna grow up one day and become a proud arsonist. Yeah, I think it was in X2. I remember X2 was one of the best superhero movies ever. I should watch that movie again. I first saw that movie in the same year I first played this game, 2012. That's when I finally got into the X-Men film franchise and started watching all of them. I didn't even know there was a third X-Men movie that came out in 2006. But I remembered hearing a kid joke about it, I think, when I was in the 4th grade. Some kid just started going off about it, saying like, oh wow, and he was laughing. I'm not going to say what it was, because it would spoil a significant scene in the movie. He was laughing at the death of one of the characters and how funny it was and how ridiculous it was, too. And I had no idea. I remember when the kid brought that up. I had no idea. I knew nothing about X-Men at the time, so I had no idea what he was talking about until like 6 years later, 2012, when I finally saw the movie. It's like, oh yeah, that's what that kid was probably babbling about. He's probably babbling about that movie, and it made perfect sense to me. I do that all the time too. I joke about things people don't get a lot. I like making jokes about Good Burger and Hubie Halloween and Scary Movie. I remember my mom unintentionally came up with another crossover of Hubie Halloween and Scary Movie, where what's his name, Hubie, played by Adam Sandler, has to go against Officer Doofy, the mentally challenged cop from that movie, Scary Movie. Yeah, I'm sure Hubie could kick Officer Doofy's butt easy, because he's Hubie Halloween. And he's always like, and Yeah, that make for an excellent crossover, I think. An awesome, unexpected crossover. It's unexpected crossovers are everyone's favorite thing these days. They can have common crossovers now and everything. Almost everything has to have some kind of crossover nowadays for it to be for people to like it or find it interesting. You know, Marvel and DC movies know that way too well. They're loaded with crossovers. And then there's Star Wars movies that feel like I have to reference it, but Star Wars is more like brand synergy or something. Like, I think that's what someone called it, where they like use different things from different parts of the saga and kind of like incorporate it into one. Kind of like in that game Star Wars Rogue Squadron Pre-Rebel Strike when Wedge found the Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter from Episode 2 of Star Wars, and he tried using it to fight against the Empire, and allegedly ended up in the hands of the Rebel Alliance, where you could eventually fly a ship in the few levels that let you fly it, because most of that game doesn't let you use starfighters. Yeah, it's a starfighter, like air combat type game. It doesn't even have much airspace combat in it. It's mostly all ground combat, like Star Wars Battlefront. Something they brutally got wrong with that game. I mean, that game tried to be a variety game, just like with Spyro 3. Spyro 3 is a variety game, only Spyro 3 did it right. It knew it was primarily a 3D platformer. It stuck with a lot of 3D platforming collectathon moments, as well as integrated a bunch of other things into the game that don't really dominate the game that much. So if you don't like it, it's not going to dominate the entire game. And, you know, that's one of the things I hated about Blinks, too, on the Xbox, was that the game pretty much forced you to mostly play as other characters, again, like the pigs mostly, just so you can have a little bit of pure fun of what the game's supposed to be. It constantly flips you for different sides. I thought that was a stupid game. You have to do a lot of stuff in that game, and there aren't any like ways to save your game too during the level. Blinks 2 is a really stupid game the more I think of it, and I'm glad I gave that game to a friend of mine. The original Blinks is kind of stupid too, but at least the original is a little bit better. It's a weird game. It was like Xbox. It almost seems a little bit like Spyro in a way, where you travel around levels and have to collect a certain amount of things you find in the level while dodging obstacles. But of course, Spyro did all that way better. It's also a bit more like Ape Escape too, which is also a far superior game to Blinks. Now I look back and realize I'm glad I didn't have an Xbox when I was a kid. I'm glad I had the original PlayStation when I was a kid rather than the original Xbox. I'd take an original PlayStation over the Xbox any day. Not that Xbox is bad. Xbox had some bangers too, like Quantum Redshift, my favorite Wipeout-like game that's not a Wipeout game. We also had this other game that was like Crash Bandicoot called Torque the Prehistoric Punk. That was also a pretty fun game too. I remember playing that quite a bit. That was a fun game too. There was also, I don't remember what else there was on. There's Star Wars Jedi Academy, which I recently got on PC. PC version's not necessarily better than the Xbox version, because the PC version is bound by all those complex commands on the keyboard and the mouse and all those commands, which on Xbox isn't as big of an issue because it's just a controller with fewer command buttons. But PC's pretty sure I can play now, since Xbox emulation isn't really that great. Xbox emulation, some people think Xbox emulation may never be possible. I don't know if that's really the case or not. I mean, N64 emulation is still not really the best either. Just a few days ago, I tried running an N64 emulator again after so many years. Project 64, possibly the first time I ever used Project 64 on Windows 11, and all the sprites in the original Super Smash Bros. Turned out very small. You can really see them around the 3D models all that well. It's still playable, though, isn't the worst. Yeah, I have to answer a riddle before we take place in the part of this. Hovercraft combat thing. It's like car combat, but with hovercraft, twisted metal. If they were hovercraft, twisted metal, pretty much. Almost like a sci-fi version of Twisted Metal. Oh wait, they already did that once before. They did that in Twisted Metal 4 by putting Orbital in that thing. Like him, solving a riddle. How long would it take? Something I know isn't really. I don't know. So I'm just gonna guess 12 years. Seems the most logical. It would take 100 dragons to lay 12. It would take take dragons so much time to. Yeah, it's 12 years. I don't know. I just memorized the answer, really. These riddles are kind of odd. Riddles are supposed to be odd and not really make much sense. It's going to tell us how to play the game and let us fight. Even though this riddle has nothing to do with what we're going to be doing in this car combat. This pretty much is like car combat. I should have recommended this game to Fiendly when he was after non-Twisted Metal car combat games. This is pretty much Spyro's take on car combat. I think Ratchet and Clank games later had stuff like this in them too. Car combat-like stuff. And of course it found its ancient roots here in Spyro. Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon. A masterpiece that will probably live on forever. Got pretty cooked at that one. We'd murdered all of them pretty much. And we're going to win an award for this, obviously. And it's going to be MJ. Yeah, Michael Jackson. I told you Michael Jackson was going to make an appearance in this level somewhere. You know, he's like Michael Jackson. And then there's going to be a part where he's going to be jumping around. And then some fire's going to come and light his head on fire. And he's going to be like, not again! And he's going to jump out the window and fall into, I don't know, a Pepsi truck, maybe. And he's going to get some kind of deal with Pepsi or something like that.
Such a brave reptile.
Okay, so we are a reptile then. I wasn't sure in that other video. I said, is Spyro a reptile or an amphibian? I don't really know. I don't think anyone really truly cared because, well, he's a dragon, and dragons don't exist in real life. He also strafe as well, too. We can also, like shoot overhead, too. They could shoot at far distance targets. And it's mostly one level, really. Those walls look like they'd stop our cannon fire, but it's actually not. Yeah, Spyro's pretty good at driving a hovercraft, despite the fact he's a quadruped. You didn't think a quadruped could drive a hovercraft or some sort of thing like this, but Spyro can clearly drive it, and it seems to work like a charm, and he seems to be dominating the competition by destroying them, making them get on their knees and beg for mercy. Mess with the dragon, feel the burn. Yeah, Spyro's still living up to his identity. He has an identity, a strong identity for being feisty and not taking any bull crap from anyone. He's all no nonsense and definitely lives up to his name, lives up to his reputation by going to this battleground, this battle play area, and dominating everything, destroying everything that comes into his path, and not taking any nonsense. Oh, there's one guy there somewhere surrounded. There he is. I knew he had to be down there. So there we go. We defeated him. I think there's still one more guy that's not dead yet. He's not dead yet. You can get health occasionally, too. It doesn't refill your health either. So if you take a beating, well, then you have to start the next part with only very little health. Yeah, come on, Sparks, go and eat that thing and refill his health a little bit. Blue Sparks. Not the worst kind of Sparks you could have. Still not the best kind of Sparks here. There we go. It's gonna hammer down the fire button, and there we go. I think we killed the last guy there. There we go. Now we won another egg. I don't really think it's a spoiler because it's pretty obvious that we're going to be winning an egg. What else would we win? A talisman? A dragon that didn't get saved in the original Spyro and still encased in stone? It's TJ. Oh yeah, TJ's named after that kid from Recess, TJ. Yeah, I remember Disney's Recess. I used to watch it on the Disney Channel all the time and Toon Disney. Those are some good old days. I also rediscovered that show Buzz Lightyear Star Command they recently aired that they aired on Toon Disney way back in the day. It was a pretty good show. It's a shame that Disney seems to want us to forget about it. It's like they're making tons of effort just to bury it from us so the world never finds out, the world never learns the truth about it. Because it's the truth, right? The truth of that show exists. It's a pretty good show. I still have some tapes of it, I think, somewhere that I taped off TV of it back in like 2004 or so. And they would air it on the Toon Disney Channel. There we go. Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm, another name I don't think we've seen yet. Or maybe we did see it yet, but I don't know. I mean, but I figure that you can't possibly remember every single name. So if they did reuse a few names, no one's gonna really notice or care. I mean, I honestly didn't care when I used to play this game back in the day. I just play it because, it's an enjoyable experience. I went on a long tangent about that in the other video, the previous video, the last video I made before this one. And trying to stand on those button things and it makes the door open or close. It's showing that weird, almost demonic looking symbol on the door thing. I think we're in some sort of Temple of Doom or something like that. Ooh, it's the Temple of Doom. We're gonna be crushed by a giant stone. The first game's making us think that. There's a segment here we get to play as Agent 9. And then go speak to this dog guy again. They're gonna be making jokes about the fact they're dogs. But he's gonna ask us that same riddle that he told us at the beginning to remind us in case we forgot. A vessel without hinges, lock or lid, yet in my walls a golden treasure is hid. It's a pretty easy thing. You don't even have to, if you know the context of this game, it's pretty obvious what it is. It's an egg, of course. That's what we've been collecting throughout the course of this entire game. Eggs. This game wants to cement into our brains that eggs is what we collect. Eggs are the key to everything in this game. Eggs are the meaning of life. Eggs are the meaning of existence. I will go rescue this guy. When there's a will, there's a way. At least some people would put it. It all seemed like some sort of like
7,000 years for someone to solve that
some
riddle.
really 7,000 years and no one ever solved it. It was a pretty obvious answer. Maybe all the people that tried solving before were dumb or didn't speak English or something like that. Like a lot of people work at some of those restaurants and don't even know how to read basic writing or understand orders from people. Like those things from South Park that don't know anything about our orders. Gonna run into Agent 9 here, where he's gonna go and take on a gauntlet. Another bloody battle gauntlet, where Agent 9's gonna pretty much play another precursor to Ratchet and Deadlocked. Bunch of combat. But we'll be seeing that in the next video. Ray Phoenix, signing out.